Hello there. My name is Jess Bakken.
Jess Bakken.
Jess
Bakken.
Jess Bakken. Bacon. Bakken. Bakken.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
What's up, Jess?
Hey there, Jess.
What's up, everybody? I've been training in martial arts since I was a child, but it wasn't until age 22 that I was first shown how to aim. Since then, I've seen a complete change in my martial arts abilities. I'm amazed at its effectiveness and how quickly I improved. My teacher says that he discovered this method of aiming, and he calls it dangerous waters. He says that I won't find it anywhere else. So, I conducted this personal study to see if he was right. I interviewed 16 famous martial artists and professional fighters and asked them one simple question.
How do you aim your punches?
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 How do you aim your punches? How do you aim your punches?
I really want to know, how do you aim your punches? Do you mean, what do I aim with? Do you mean, how do I, like, hand-eye coordination, like, get to a point where I can, and, like, I guess I want to know what you mean by that. I'll definitely answer your question, though. Like, not what's your target, but how do you aim to throw punches at your target? Actually, good question. I've never really thought about that. I don't really teach it that way. How do I aim punches? I guess, like, I don't know, how do I aim punches? That's an interesting question. How do I aim punches? You shouldn't have to think about aiming your punches. You can take time to find small spots. This thing's so dirty. But for example, like that X that I just drew there, I don't know if you guys can see it right there. I'll definitely like spend time trying to punch specific spots, specific small spaces, but I guess that's how I practice to aim.
Johnny from Extra Boxing here with another hotel Q&A session. The next topic is accuracy. So how to improve your accuracy. And this is a really good topic to talk about. I think it's really cerebral. For me, accuracy is a matter of timing. That's it. Most fighters, let's say they try to punch an opponent and the opponent moves, then they go, okay, well, since they move here, I'm gonna punch over here, or they move there, I punch here. They try to change the aim of their punches to be more accurate. In my opinion, if you wanna have better accuracy, just change the timing, okay? So I punch right where their head is, and if they move, then next time I feint, then punch the same spot. Or I disguise my movement, punch the same spot, right? I disguise my movement so that they can't see the shot coming. When I try to hit someone's body, I aim right here, right for their, I aim here. I don't try to aim around the elbow, under the arm. I aim right at the arm, boom. And if the arm is blocked, fine. Next time, I aim for the same spot a little faster or a little slower, a little sooner, a little later. And at some point, they're gonna throw a right hand, and the moment they throw, it doesn't matter what right hand they throw. If they throw a right hand, the elbow's gonna lift, and everything down here is wide open. So for me, accuracy is really a matter of timing. The better you get at boxing, the more, it's never about accuracy. It's just pure timing, that's it. And you need to understand that sometimes in fighting, your movements go like this. It goes like that, side to side. So you need to adjust your timing to catch them as they're passing side. So right, boom, that's when they line up. So you need to adjust them, say away, boom, and it catches them as they're going like this. Other times, both of you are going like this, right? In a fight where you're rolling, so you need to find a way to catch them maybe after they roll away and they come back. You can change patterns and then boom, again. It's really just a timing thing. That's it. I believe it's a timing thing. And your hand, where do you aim? I just generally aim, could be chin, this general area. I aim for this general area right here. And I know if I time it right, I'm gonna catch something. Just try to make contact with your opponent. Even if it's on their glove, don't try to punch around their glove. Try to make contact right on their glove, shoulder, whatever that you can find. Make contact with that. and then start adjusting your timing a little bit. Adjust your angles, adjust your timing. I've never felt that people's accuracy problems was because like this was the mark and they weren't hitting on the mark, they were hitting slightly off the mark. I don't feel it's that. It's just that they don't understand the timing of their own movement and they don't understand the timing of their opponent's movement. So it's a lot of like aligning the stars. You have to know that if you move a certain way, your opponent's gonna move a certain way. And then if you know that your opponent will move that way when you move this way, you can set them up, right? So it's a thinking game. You gotta set them up. You can't just swing shots thinking, oh, okay, he moved around, so I'm gonna move my shots around and I'm gonna find him. No, you gotta just find the timing. Boom, right? I throw some tester shots. This is why I jab. I test the shots. I see where they go. And then based on where they go, I start boom, here, boom, and I find it. Boom, here, boom, and I find them. Right? That's how I solve all my accuracy issues. I just adjust the timing. How do you learn how to adjust timing? Get in the ring, start sparring with people, right? Maybe even take it easy a little bit, and this is why you have to do, you know, tactical work, so you get to work with timing. Otherwise, you're just brawling and pounding each other's brains out.
I would love to teach you, man. How do you aim your punches? At their face. You know, at their either at their face or at where I think their face is gonna be. So that's your target, but how do you aim at your target? Well, back in when you, not to brag, but I've been around a while, it just sort of happens intuitively. You just learn to work on it. It just does. You don't think about aiming when you're wielding a weapon, and even if that weapon is your fist or your foot, aiming it, and it's not we're not talking about taking single shots. I'm talking about fighting. It needs to be intuitive. I think if your system hinges on where you aim your punches, you got big problem.
Big problem.
Like if that's if that's the main, like when you're trying to describe your system, and I know you'll say, oh, no, there's lots of differences, but that's your go-to thing. So that's the most distinct, most interesting, most different, most unique part of what you're doing. It's how you aim your punches. It's not gonna happen, man. It's probably no good. Sorry.
How do you aim your punches? Okay, that's I don't really, not too relevant. Anyway.
Well, I hope well and accurately.
Yeah.
How do you aim your punches? Do you have an answer for that?
I could guess you're firing hands in that vicinity, like for the most part. To me, it's almost like I'm fighting an outline. There's no real detail in it. I'm just throwing hands at that big round head. An area that I've sort of studied a lot lately is focus, like your attention and focus. In self-defense, we need to be able to do that as well, like to go from, you know, your broad focus where you're looking all around, you're looking if he's got friends or whatnot, you want to narrow a bit, but you can't narrow it that much that, you know, your focus is that small that you're staring at a jaw, because you'll miss feet coming at you, you'll miss them grabbing you, you'll miss their friends, you'll miss whatever else happens to be there. So specifically aiming your punches, I just throw them at their head. So I'm just throwing it at that head, like just throwing it up there, hoping for the best.
How do I aim my punches? Well, first of all, to actually aim your punches, you have to know how to punch. So a lot of training of being able to do all different techniques with your hands will definitely help. Also then knowing the target areas where you're going to be striking when you use each of those techniques. For example, you know, you could be aiming for the throat, could be aiming for the chin, could be aiming for the nose, different things like that. In terms of actually aiming on a person, I find when I'm fighting them, it's more about the opportunity that arises. So if I'm fighting them and the place is open, my body just will automatically strike that area with whatever technique comes to my mind in that split second. Yeah, I don't process in my head, go, oh, look, there's an opening, I'm going to hook punch. The hook punch will automatically come out based on the training. So the repetition is the key. Once I've put the repetitions in of all the different techniques that I have, whether that be hands or foot, when I see the opening, I can just automatically hit it, and my brain doesn't think about what technique I actually throw. It just already knows. It's like driving a car. Yeah, you know when to change gear. You don't go, oh, I need to change gear now. Your body just goes, oh, gear change, done. And it's without even thinking. You could be listening to music, you could be doing whatever else, looking out the window, focusing on something else. It just happens, it's instinctive. That's because you've trained your body that way. So a good way to do it is when you're with pads or anything like that. If you get the pad man or pad woman to put the pads in and then just put them out, and then try and instinctively throw a technique. You know, obviously you could do that drilling with hands only, you could drill it with legs only, or you could do, you know, a variety of techniques, and that would depend obviously on ranges, all that sort of stuff as well. So, but yeah, your training is super important with that. Obviously, if you haven't got your training background with it already, it's not going to come out instinctively.
How do I aim my punches? I'm not too sure how I aim my punches. I think I use my peripherals because I like to look at the chest or the solar plex when I'm sparring or fighting. So I'll stare at the solar plex and use my peripherals to aim to punch at the head. Sometimes I like to look at the legs and kick high or punch high. And sometimes I like to look in the eyes and kick low.
Hi Jess, it's Master Wong here. For your question and stuff like that on it, I will go through some bit with you, and then you can understand what I'm talking about. Now, when you are punching, like if I'm punching somebody, okay, hit somebody, you don't punch it one punch. You have to punch and then continue to punch and move in. When I'm punching, attacking, I have to continue and move in to the person. So when you move in, you need a defending two things. For me, when I started doing this kind of punching, I'm not really sure what he's gonna do and how he's gonna come back at me. So I'm not gonna give them a chance. So soon I punch, okay, so I have to close them up by this hand defending this side. So if they're hitting this side, and this hand defending this side, because all they're interested in, it hit me back. And down here, I control, okay? So when I'm attacking 1, 2, okay? Or 1, 2, 3, I always come back to this movement here to defend. When I hitting, if he hit me back right away, okay? Hit me back right away. This hand have to call the recovery. So soon that hand, when I attack, he move, okay? And he will try to hit me back, I will recovery. So that means this hand here, across like this. So that way, if he punch, he will land into my elbow. Soon he land into my elbow, I have to return at once, okay? So I'm not gonna waiting for him to respond to me. So another thing to understand, when you fight, when you're doing the punch, the distance here, when you punching, this is about from here to the where you are as a person, for instance, it's about 1 meter away, okay? So if I'm hitting him and he moving, he will come toward me. He will come toward me. I will boom, boom, I will close a gap. I will come toward him quickly. While I come toward him, okay, I need to make sure this hand is here to keep him the distance. You can see here the distance from him to me, okay, the distance. So I can using this hand here from here to attacking, okay, to doing the same attacking with him. If I clapping in like this, if he's clapping in like this, the hand, when he start to grab hold of me, tight like this, okay, when he come and grab tight like this, my body cannot function anymore, okay? So when I'm attacking them, but I also create the distance like this away. So from this distance from me to him, I can using all my movement from here, okay? So this is very important to understand. It's the gap. If he start coming in and you closing the gap, you cannot using your body anymore. So this is why the hand like this and defending is drop your chin. So while I'm punching him, I'm dropping down this, because when this hand coming in, it's only one movement to do, okay? Hit, defense, one movement. So while you're here, you're attacking, all this hand do, it's just reaching your forehead. And if I'm attacking, and you're attacking coming in, they're attacking my forehead instead of my face, okay? So here, while I'm here, I'm already here, I can really doing the movement right away, okay? So this is important. It's not a straightforward answer, but it gives you the idea why you do each thing, okay? You're hitting, you have to defending and attacking at the same time, basically. You are got to get used to learn to understand that. You can't attacking and then blocking this way, because you're blocking this way, your head is open. You're hitting, but you come back like this way. So your head is dropping down, you're defending in line, okay? So then, soon they're attacking, you defend right away by hitting. So soon you're hitting, he come back. Soon he come back, this hand will defending your angle here, defending your face by attacking. Soon he punching, land the elbow here, you're straight away, bam, you can straight away move in to do the movement right away and defending at the same time, okay? The most important thing to learn is closing the gap right here. So for me, to this particular bit here, it's about, see my hand here? It's about a meter away from you to me. It's about a meter. This is where the engagement will be for the combat, okay? So you keep the hand here, okay? The distance. So when he coming in here, so that elbow, when he come up, that elbow come up, then attacking, okay? Attacking. So boom, so you punch, you block, eye jab coming in. And then he hit, attack, defend, elbow here, and you force him back.
Hey Jess, Face Sensei here. How to aim your punches better. Okay, so there's probably two things. Number one is elbow placement. Most people, when they first start punching, is their elbows flare out, right, when they go to throw their punch, and that really lifts their shoulder, right? It's everything before the hand, right? The elbow and the shoulder joint and rotating. So first you want to make sure your elbows are in. As you punch out, your elbow stays tight and doesn't flare out, because that's going to really move your hand around. So number one is elbow placement, and number two, make sure you aim small, especially with your middle knuckle. Your front two knuckles is what you should be aiming with. You don't want to aim with your whole hand. You want to be hitting a very small point with your first two knuckles. And if you think about that when you're going to aim, you're gonna be a lot sharper and hit your target a lot better, right? If you just think about smashing the target, a big motion, you're gonna hit with all your hand. But if you think of pinpointing with your first two knuckles right on a target and keeping your elbow in tight, then when you add the hips and with repetition, you'll be good.
Master Ken here with a special message for Jess on how to aim your punches. I understand many people aim their punches differently than others, but since I'm the most lethal street fighter on YouTube, you want to listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. It has to do with distance, okay? Distance is very important when it comes to accuracy, just like when you use a firearm, okay? If I'm very, very close to my opponent, I don't even really have to aim. I just have to point my weapons in the general direction. I'm probably going to hit them. See? I don't even have to look. See? My eyes are closed. Totally hitting my target. But further I get away, kind of like using a rifle, right? See this? Got to use my sights. If my target is really far away, got to use my sights. So just turn your weapons into long range by making one hand your sights, okay? Put up the V sight. So my opponent is much further away now, like so. I'm gonna put up the sights, use that to aim, pull my weapon back, and just like that. So, you're getting further away and it's hard to see. Just use the V. That's how I would do it. So that's how you should do it. Anyway, I'm Master Ken. Remember, always restart back groin.
Jess, what's going on, bud? Randy Couture. Hey, got your message. Aiming punches, it's an interesting question. I think it's something that happens with your brain and your eyes naturally through training. Hip mitts use focus mitts with targets on them, bags with targets on them, and over time you practice hitting those targets in real time. And then that obviously changes when you're dealing with a resisting opponent, somebody who's going to be a lot less predictable than your coach with mitts or that heavy bag that doesn't move much. Think about shooting a bow and arrow. Yes, a modern bow and arrow compound bow will have a peep sight and will have a pin, an aiming pin that you gauge with your eyesight and your brain. That connection between your brain and your eyes is pretty amazing. And I think the same type of thing is happening as you practice, as you train, and you focus on throwing your hands and your feet and hitting those targets on the bag, on those focus mitts, and on your training partners.
What's up, Jess? It's Kung Lee here. You wanted to know how I aim my punches. Well, I aim my punches at a lot of things. One of my favorites is the Punch King. Because not only do I get to punch my target, but I get to kick the Punch King bag. In order to hit a moving target, you gotta have some tools that move. A fun one is my spar bar. Another one is my Cobra Reflex bag. When I spar, these tools help me connect with my punches. So that's how I aim my punches. And if you put together a circuit, that is how you then can aim your punches.
Hi Jess, thanks again for reaching out. Personally, I'd say that it's not so much how you aim that matter, but it's to reach the target however possible. But just to answer your question, I like to make my fist this way, horizontally, because I have a bigger fist and then more chance to reach my target. So if I'm fighting, if I'm striking, I'm going this way, right? Because I have more chance to reach the target. But I could also go this way, vertically, because if someone has a tight guard, it's easy for me to go through this tight guard, right? To go through with my fist like this. So I could do this or this vertically. So it all depends.
Yo, what's up, everybody? King Triple C here. The Olympic champ, the flyweight champion, the bantamweight champion of the world. Anyhow, how do you aim your punches? I don't mean what is your target. I'm curious, how do you actually aim your strikings when you're trying to hit the target? How do you aim your punches? This is how I aim my punches. Typically, I calculate everything through distance, because through distance gives you timing. Timing doesn't give you distance. And every time that I do hit, I always make sure that I got composure in my face, that nobody can see anything. Even if I get hit or whatever that may be, I'm like this the whole time. Stone cold. So part of your facial expression is a huge reason why you are going to be able to hit. So distance, composure, and then just letting go, man. Finding the target, whether it's the chin, to wherever it is that you want to hit, is really, you know, being a sniper in that sense. So again, you guys want to be the best strikers in the world. It all goes back to the details. It all goes back to position. Anyhow, Triple C is out.
Hey there, Jess. Boss Wooden here. How you doing? Okay, so you want to become more accurate, I guess, right? So, how do you aim your punches? That's the question. It's hand-eye coordination. It's very simple. It's something that you have to increase. What I used to do personally, I would have little pieces of rope with a little clothespins on it, and then I would leave little post-its on with targets on there. In the middle, a little dot, and I had them throughout my whole house, and I was constantly hitting those. And I tried to really hit with this knuckle. You try to hit that black little dot that you drew in the middle, and constantly aim for that. And it's the same as shooting a gun, the same as shooting arrows. With everything you do, it's just the more you do it, the more accurate you get, because you have to figure out what is the correct punch. You know, I would used to do in the car, this is a stupid thing, do not do this in the car as well. Like in the steering wheel, there would be like a space like this between the wheel and the middle part, and I would go like, I would hit in between without these little pieces touching, see? So constantly I would do that, so to try to get an aim. But of course, if you hit it the wrong way and in an angle and you hit the steering wheel and something goes wrong, you're getting into an accident. So watch out for that. Don't do it, but you can do it. I always like to do things, kill time. You know, I'm in the car, it's boring, I need to do something. So I would do little pieces, and otherwise on the back, this is what I did as well, with a marker, little pieces on the bar, little dots here and there, all around the back, and you hit those dots. But the best thing is with bare knuckle, because you don't want to hit the back with bare knuckle. You want to do it very gentle, because once you start scraping your knuckles, well, you're going to reopen it every freaking day. It's going to take a century before it closes. You need to have it healed first before you can do it again. But hit the spots on the back, and constantly with this knuckle, aim for the dots that you're putting on a target, whatever target it is. Shadow boxing, well, mirror boxing, I do this very close to the mirror, and I literally aim for my own jaw and my own things and my own solar plexus and my own liver and my own spleen shot. But aiming is one of the most important things in fighting. A lot of people don't do it. They just hit a hand or a focus mitt or a back, but they don't really have a target. So for you to make targets and to aim it, so your hand-eye coordination is going to be much better,
That is the key to success.
It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the coach. Our next question comes from our friend Jess. Jess says, how do you aim your punches? That might sound like a pretty obvious question, but let's get into this. I don't mean what part of your opponent's body is the target, or what part of your hand you hit with. I'm curious as to how you actually aim your strikes to hit those targets. It might seem like a strange thing, but you're asking a dude who's half blind how he aims his punches. Like a guy who literally has impaired vision and a big black spot in the middle, asking how he aims his punches. It's the feet, man. It is the footwork. Footwork is putting your feet in the correct position relative to your opponent's feet in order to hit him, particularly in effective ways that will hurt him. That's what footwork means. So you're going to aim with your footwork. Now, you can look at a target and think, I'm going to hit him in the chin with my fist. And you can practice hitting a specific target in a specific place many, many times before you step in the ring with a guy with the intention of hitting him in the chin with your fist. But if your feet are not in the correct position relative to his feet, when you throw that punch, you will never, ever, ever connect that punch with your fist to his chin. If you stand in front of a stationary target, and I were to draw a bullseye on that stationary target, and I said, punch that bullseye, a child can do that without any additional training. That's not what's difficult about aiming. It's pretty easy to land a punch on a stationary target. Unfortunately, in a fight, we're not fighting a stationary target with a big bullseye on it. So if a half-blind guy can hit a moving target fairly consistently on a point as small as the side of the chin, how does that aiming process work? The footwork. Move relative to how the other guy moves. And everything about that is dependent on correct footwork, meaning your feet move relative to his feet. You program him to move a certain way. You move this way, he moves that way, because it's human instinct to move away from danger. You move back, he moves forward, because it's human instinct to move forward when you feel like you're winning. And so as he's moving forward, you already know the direction he's going to be moving. So what do? He moves forward. We're like a bullfighter. We're like Carthage. We're like, boom. Flank him. Dead. So how do you aim? Draw up that battle plan in your head first. How do we aim? We aim before we ever get in the ring. We create that battle strategy. That fist has already connected to the side of the jaw before we ever step in the ring.
How do you aim your punches? What an interesting question. I want to thank everyone involved in the making of this study. This collection of knowledge has been very insightful. As you can see, there are many different methods of aiming. Some of the best martial artists in the world aim differently than each other, but how they aim has definitely worked. There are many details provided by each of the martial artists in this interview that match the Dangerous Waters method of aiming, but no one person was able to describe the exact same method of aiming that I have been taught. For that reason, I do believe it's true that my sensei has discovered a new method of aiming. I can't find it anywhere else. I believe that his training routine could change the way that striking is taught in this world, because I believe there is no faster, safer, or easier way to gain skills in striking than by training Dangerous Waters. But what's most important to me is that it works. I've tested it against instructors and students in other schools and competitions. I've seen it empower the students that I teach, and I've seen my American Mr. Miyagi of an instructor dominate bigger, younger, athletic men by using his method of aiming. Do you want to know how I aim my punches? Then make a documentary with me. I want to give a famous martial artist 10 lessons in dangerous waters and record their thoughts and honest opinions on the training and its effectiveness. I know that once they learn this way of aiming, they're going to see that it's 100% real. I have no doubts in the effectiveness of dangerous waters. That's why if a famous martial artist participates in this documentary with me, I'll give him $1,000. So what do you say? You got everything to gain and nothing to lose. When I release this documentary, I'll release the secrets of dangerous waters aiming to the world. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this metaphor for how we aim our punches.
I'm going to use tanks as a metaphor for aiming. So there's two tanks trying to hit each other. What does one tank have to do to hit the other tank? The first thing it's got to do is line up.
Davis, lining up!
If it's not lined up correctly, it can hit too far to one side. Or hit too far to the other side. Has to be lined up correctly. The next thing it's got to do is get its distance.
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 The distance.
If it doesn't have its distance correctly, it can hit in front of the target. Or behind the target. It has to get its distance correctly. The tank that lines up and gets its distance will hit the target. The accuracy is a result of aiming by lining up and getting your distance. You throw your punches the same way by lining up and getting your distance.
I now direct this message to all of the martial artists around the world. How do you aim your punches? I'm interested to see if anyone trains the same way that my sensei does. Martial arts is also a journey of knowledge, so I'm open to learning from new and unique perspectives. If you want to share your method of aiming, then just send me a video answering one simple question.
How do you aim your punches? Actually, good question. I've never really thought about that.
For me, accuracy is a matter of timing.
How do you aim your punches? It just sort of happens intuitively.
How do you aim your punches?
I hope well and accurately.
Yeah.
How do you aim your punches?
I'm just throwing out that head.
How do I aim my punches? My body just will automatically strike that area with whatever technique comes to my mind in that split second.
For your question and stuff like that on it, the most important thing to learn is closing the gap.
How do I aim my punches? I think I use my peripherals.
How to aim your punches better. Number one is elbow placement, and number two, make sure you aim small.
How to aim your punches has to do with distance.
Aiming punches, I think it's something that happens with your brain and your eyes naturally through training.
You wanted to know how I aim my punches. Put together a circuit.
It's not so much how you aim that matter, but it's to reach the target however possible.
This is how I aim my punches. Typically, I calculate everything through distance.
How do you aim your punches? It's hand-eye coordination.
How do you aim your punches? It's the feet, man. It is the footwork.
All right, Jess, Godspeed. Hosu.
I hope you like this, Jess. I hope you guys like this.
Hopefully that lesson helping you to learn and understand a bit more.
I'll see you guys on the next boxing Q&A video.
Bye-bye for now.
Have a great day.
Take care. Be well.
Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.
I was wondering, how do you aim your punches? You try to hit somebody right when you want them, and you punch them.